Okay, everyone, we are back with more of Hugo 2, Whodunit. So, since this will probably be the last video of this game, since we're getting close to the end, as you can see in the score there, I thought I would take a moment just to mention something interesting that I found. So, I actually did after I made the last video for this game, I did find an interview of none other than David P. Gray, which was done by Classic DOS Games. If you on classicdosgames.com, I guess you can probably look it up on Google or your preferred search engine like DuckDuckGo or whatever. You can find an interview with David P. Gray. It's very interesting, actually. He makes some very interesting statements, which are actually quite enlightening about some of the states of these games and some of the decisions that he made when making these games. So I just want to mention a few of them. One thing that I thought was very interesting is the name of the original game, Hugo's House of Horrors, is actually a tribute to Leisure Suit Larry because the executable for the game becomes hhh.exe, which was supposed to be kind of an homage to lll.exe for Leisure Suit Larry. So I thought that was an interesting little detail. And a lot of people seem to think that Hugo's House of Horrors is inspired by Maniac Mansion. Gray claims that he had never played Maniac Mansion before making Hugo's House of Horrors, so that was interesting, I thought. Um, Regarding this game, Hugo's House of Horrors 2. This game is apparently partially inspired by Agatha Christie murder mystery novels. And by the way, yes, Gray is British. I had suspected that he was British just based on some of the some of the little touches in these games. So he is originally British, although he did emigrate later to the United States. But he's British, and yeah, he said this was kind of inspired by Agatha Christie novels. And one of the reasons why. I guess why this game's plot unfolds the way it does. I remember Yahtzee and Gabe, when they played this game, they complained about how most of the game is actually not about the murder mystery. But Gray says, I guess it's kind of intentional because in most Agatha Christie novels, the murder happens kind of at the beginning and then it's kind of put to the side, and then the real solving the mystery doesn't come until the end of the story. So it's kind of the same here. I mean, yeah, most of this game is actually not about the murder mystery, but we'll be getting back to that soon. And one other thing that I thought was interesting was Hugo's House of Horrors 3. The screens for that game were professionally drawn, so you can see the screens here in this game. They're mostly fairly amateurish. That's because I guess they were just like homegrown, homebrewed by probably by Gray himself, and I guess he's not a professional author. By contrast, the screens in Hugo's House of Horrors 3 are much more elaborate. They're definitely much more, I wouldn't say they're photorealistic, but they definitely have a lot more texture and detail in them, which this game's graphics don't have. But the drawback, of course, is Hugo's 3 was very expensive to make or relatively expensive to make because all those, professionally made graphics drove up the development cost for the game and resulted in a drastically shorter game. That's the reason why this game is longer, but the third game is so much shorter because Gray couldn't put that many screens in the game since he had the graphics outsourced to a company that he paid money to have them do the graphics. So just a few little tidbits there. I thought that was interesting. And no, there will not be another Hugo game. The interviewer asked Gray, are you thinking of doing another Hugo game, like another sequel? And his answer was simply no. So that was that. Anyway, all right, thanks for listening. Sorry, I just wanted to mention some of those things because I thought that was interesting. So we are here in a cave, and we are going to, I guess, go the only way that we can go. We can go back up the rope, but okay, so you're in an underground cavern. You can see 3 passageways as well as the entrance you came through. So I think these 3 are meant to be gone through in order of Western reading order, which means left to right. So let's go ahead and start here. You're in a featureless underground cavern. The only exit appears to be the way you came in. You can also see an old dusty oil lamp. Oh, that's nice. All right, let's get the old dusty oil lamp. Okay. And of course, let's do the obvious thing that everybody would do in this kind of situation in an adventure game and rub the lamp. As you rub the lamp, it starts to glow for a brief moment, and then returns to normal. Apart from that, nothing interesting appears to happen. Okay. I guess we need to do something for the lamp to do something interesting. All right, so we're done there. That's the only thing we need to do there. And here in this room, okay, this is. I've admitted before there have been a few kind of dickish things that this game does. This is one of them. So you are in an underground cavern. There is a chasm over to the right. It appears to be impassable. Well, you can also see a moldy banana. Obviously, that yellow thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and save here. I'll just say chasm. So yeah, obviously you can't. Yeah, you can't jump over it. The chasm is too wide. Besides, that would be too easy for you, don't you think? So yeah, that's too easy. And obviously, you can't just levitate over it. It's not a leap of faith like in that Indiana Jones movie. Oh dear, how careless. You fell into the chasm. Now you'll never rescue Hugo and solve the whodunit. I like that falling animation, by the way. Let's see that again. That falling animation is ridiculous. That's a great falling animation. And by great, I mean not that great. So, okay. The solution here is kind of stupid. There is, down here, there's a path that's hidden from view because the rocks are in front of it. So you just walk across like that, and that's it. And it's not a cheat or anything like that. That is actually the intended puzzle solution. Now, there are a few problems with that. I mean, first of all, obviously, a chasm like this wouldn't normally have a walkable passage just on one side of it like that. It probably wouldn't be something that a person could just walk across the way Penelope just did. But more to the point, if you what did I type cache? If you try to look at the chasm here, the game specifically says it appears to be impassable. Now, we can't see the walkway on the side of the chasm because of the camera perspective here, but Penelope can. And I think the game, an adventure game like this has a certain responsibility, I think, to not hide information like that from the player. This falls once again under the category of abuses of the adventure game engine. It's basically abusing the perspective of this 3D engine to prevent us from seeing the path. When Penelope, from her perspective, could very clearly see the path. So there are a few things where 3D perspective kind of comes into play. Like somebody mentioned in the very first screen of the game, when the maid says the door you need to go through is the third door on the right. Somebody pointed out in a comment, actually, it would be on the left, because when you're going along the balcony at the top there, the door is actually on your left side. On Hugo and Penelope's left side, but you don't really think about that. I mean, I didn't really think about that until somebody pointed it out. I mean, to me, the door is on the right because we, as the players of the game, we see the door on the right. We see the screen, the room as it was drawn by whoever made the graphics for the game. So, there's that. And then the whole thing with the bridge. I mean, the bridge is so difficult to walk across because the 3D perspective from the side means that the bridge is only a few pixels wide on the screen. But in real life, of course, the bridge would be much wider. It's not that the bridge is only a few pixels wide. It's just that when you view it from the side, it only occupies a few pixels on the screen. So there are all these problems that kind of surface that are associated with viewing a 3D world from a fixed perspective, like from a fixed 2D picture like this. And this is one of them. And I also don't think it's fair that the game says jumping across the chasm would be too easy, but then just walking around it is also pretty easy. And I actually figured that out myself. Even when I was a kid, I figured this out myself. I just thought, well, maybe there's something down there. So that kind of thinking comes naturally to me. Maybe it doesn't come naturally to some people. I don't know. But anyway. So we got the banana. Let's take a look at it. It looks pretty moldy. I don't think I'd try eating it. Okay, well, it's like don't push the big red button. Of course, you're going to push the big red button. Yummy. You feel greatly invigorated. Oh, I just put the game into an unwinnable state because I ate the banana. Okay. I didn't know that she would actually do it. All right, that's fine. Well, let's go back here and get the banana again. Oh, apparently not quite in the right place. Do I have to go a little, do I have to be a little further to the... Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's... I mean, to me it seems natural to... Oh, come on. To me it seems natural to try something like this. I mean, if you see that you can't see this area here... Okay, that's just... I'm being a little bit sloppy. I realize I'm being a little bit sloppy. I'm not going right up to the edge of the chasm. I didn't think you had to, but apparently you do. To me, it seems natural just to think, well, okay, if you can't see that space down there, then maybe you should try going there to see what happens. But different people think differently. All right, what's in here? You're in a rocky passage. Can I get a rock? I see no purpose in doing that. All right. That's fine. Okay, and what do we have here? Another dead end. Ah, but there's a ladder going up. You're in a barren cavern with a ladder leading to some kind of trap door. Okay. Alrighty, let's get out of here. At the top of the ladder is a trap door. Although it doesn't appear to be locked or bolted, despite your best efforts, you are unable to budge it. Okay. Well, maybe you need an accountant. You know, to budget. I'm trying to decide whether that joke was very clever or very terrible. I don't know. I thought it was clever. All right. So let's go ahead and rub the lamp, because doing something a second time, which didn't work the first time, is always a good thing to do. You know, try again. Poof! Hi. Are you going? Okay. I guess not. You're not going to say anything? Just your regular genie type, yes, indeed. Greetings, mistress. I'm the genie of the lamp. Don't get too excited. I don't do any of those 3 wishes kind of things. However, I am decidedly hungry, and I do almost anything for a banana, especially a moldy one. What is it with genies and their weird culinary tastes? Like, the genie in King's Quest VI was absolutely insane for mint, and this guy likes moldy bananas of all things. All right, that's fine. Give banana to genie. Oh, thank you, mistress. To show his gratitude, the genie climbs up the ladder and with a mighty shove bursts open the trap door for you. Okay. All right. Thanks, pal. I guess that was the end of that. Let's go up and all right, here we go. All right, now we're back in the house. So let's go ahead and save again. Back in the house. And now here is where the real end game begins. This is where now we get back to the murder mystery and finally try to find out who killed our Uncle Hester. So yeah, most of the game was just trying to get to here, but now we've actually made it to the main part of the house, and now we'll finish things up. So let's take a look around. You're in the storeroom. There's a sturdy safe over to one side and the open trapdoor from whence you came. So there's basically nothing in the storeroom except the safe. Can I look out the window? Okay, don't think it would accomplish much. Fine. You look in the mouse hole. Can I look in the hole then? You feel around in the hole with your hand and come into contact with something large and furry. Youch, it bit you. Okay. And for some reason, we get a point for doing that. There's absolutely no purpose to it. It doesn't do anything. And being bitten by the mouse also is not a problem. You're not going to get rabies or something like that from it, so don't worry about it. It's just completely pointless, so I don't know. Anyway. All right, so let's take a look at this safe then. It is a pretty solid-looking safe. I don't think there's any way to open it unless you know the combination. All right, let's go ahead and open the safe. What's the combination? 1, 2, 3. Nope, that's not it. I think you're guessing. So this is actually, there's no way to find the combination to the safe. In fact, I'm pretty sure there is no combination to the safe. So, okay, you try to break open the safe and it asks for the combination. I don't think that's how breaking something open works. I don't know how you're supposed to figure this out. Is there a clue to this somewhere? I don't know. Anyway. So where's our inventory? Right, inventory is F6. So if you look at our inventory here, right, we have that screwdriver. And oh, and by the way, yes, another thing from the interview with David P. Gray, the interviewer mentioned you must be a Doctor Who fan because the Doctor, the Doctor appears in the game, and Gray's response was something like, "Sorry, but you're mistaken. That's actually not Doctor Who." And by the way, the company that holds the rights to Doctor Who are really big on copyright enforcement, so it's a good thing that that's not Doctor Who. Meaning, of course, it is, but it isn't. But it is, but it is. Okay. So yeah. So that screwdriver, and yeah, I think in the Doctor Who show there was a sonic screwdriver, but in the game, if we look at the screwdriver, okay, it doesn't give the name, but I believe the Doctor in the game calls it a sonar screwdriver, not a sonic screwdriver, because it's not. He's not Doctor Who. He's from some other TV show. I guess. Okay. Anyway, so what you're supposed to do is open the safe with this screwdriver. How you're supposed to know this, I don't know. Is there a clue for this somewhere? I really have no idea. But this is what you do. And why would a sonar screwdriver open a safe? I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, amazing. Are you sure you haven't done this before? Anyway, the safe is empty apart from one solitary document which you pick up. At the top of the document is the word will. Oh, Will Ferrell. Or Good Will Hunting. Or Will You Be My Valentine? Or, okay, anyway. So let's take a look at the will. It has some printing on it, some of which is readable. Okay, that is often a property of a will. Yes, that can happen. That will happen sometimes. Yes. Okay. Can we read the will? Maybe. You have found the will of Great Uncle Horace. The date on it appears to be very recent. Most of it is in legalese and rather fine print. Reading further with the aid of your magnifier, you get to the inheritance. Shock horror! It appears that Great Uncle Horace has left a fortune to Hugo. Wow. Now, you might be starting to get some ideas about the culprit in the murder case, but let's move on. And okay, so here we are in a this is in okay this yeah obviously this is the hallway. What's up here? Oh, this is a nice, this is the living room. Ah, this is where we're supposed to meet that police officer, but I guess it's not quite the time yet. This is actually a really nice room. I mean, I know the graphics are very simple, but I just love domestic environments like this in games. Like, I guess I'm one of those people who just, I think I said in the previous video, I'm very domestic, and that's one of the reasons why I like this game, just because it really feels like being at home. It's kind of like in the Colonel's Bequest. The Colonel's mansion in the Colonel's Bequest almost feels like a second home to me, because it's just such a great place where you can explore, and it's kind of, isolated from the world and its many dangers. Although, well, okay, there are many dangers inside the mansion, but I mean, I just like places like this. But we'll come back here later to meet the police officer. There's nothing to do until then. And up here, let's see, let's go through here first. Aha, we're back where we started. So this is, yeah, now finally we get to see what was behind those two other doors in this part of the house. I don't think we can open any of these doors. Yeah, so this one won't open, this one won't open, and this one won't open. Yeah, well, we've seen what's behind these three doors anyway. This was the bedroom where we started. This was the study where Uncle Horace got murdered, and then this was like the baby's room or children's room with that balloon that had a like a card inside it for whatever reason. And here is another hallway. Here in the hall in Great Uncle Horace's cottage. And sadly, this mirror does not work, at least not in the game. You don't actually see a reflection of Penelope the way you do in the mirror in King's Quest IV. Let's look in the mirror. There's nothing special about it. Okay, fine. All right, so let's see. Let's go ahead and let me save my game again. Exploring house. So if we come up here, it's the maid. She appears to be looking intently at something. Sensing your presence, she deftly places whatever she was looking at into the cupboard and turns to face you.
Ah, Madame Penelope, you startled me. I hope you enjoyed your little rest. Très bien. Now, did I ever tell you the story of when I was, how you say, the cancan dancer at the Moulin Rouge in my hometown, Paris? No? Well, it was like this. Blah, 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 blah.
So I think we kind of got the idea already at the beginning when the maid started screaming at us that she's not actually French anyway. So I think this whole story about being a can-can dancer in Paris is probably made up. Well, actually, I guess she could. I mean, I guess you don't have to be French to be a can-can dancer at Moulin Rouge in Paris, but yeah. Anyway, so the maid is blah blah blahing to us, and obviously she will not be interrupted. Like, we can't talk to the maid. It's funny, the game thinks that trying to talk to the maid means trying to talk to yourself. We try to look at the maid, you say saucy looking French maid, and if you try to open the cupboard that the maid put something into, it says the maid is in the way. Besides, it's rude to interrupt. So let's see. What do we have here? So this is a big empty room except for that cat in the window there and the scratching post, right? Yeah, you're in the room adjoining the parlor, but there's nothing here except the cat. You see nothing very interesting about the cat. Okay. Can we look at the scratching post? Now, this is the message that you get when you try to look at the scratching post. Now, I understand that sometimes people are struck by a burst of inspiration. You know, people have some creative inspiration and want to, write something. But this is just this is just a little bit ridiculous, don't you think? I mean, everything else in the game, every important item in the game has like a one-line description. And then this completely irrelevant item, which the game is, at least the game is fair enough to tell you at the end, it has nothing whatsoever to do with the game. It gives you a real proper description of like the one thing in the game that you can't do anything with. This is even more descriptive than the bug zapper. And the bug zapper is at least something you can do something with. I mean, the description of how it's shaped and how it works is unnecessary, but at least, the bug zapper is an element that's somehow relevant to the game. You have to turn it on so you can get past the bees. But this, anyway. Okay, so we need to do something with the cat. Not with the scratching post, but with the cat. Okay, so we have a cat here. Can we take the cat? It is of no use to you. So here is probably one of the most bogus puzzles of the game. This might actually be, for me, the most absurd puzzle of the game. I really can't quite figure out how you're supposed to make sense of this. So I think I somehow figured out, I forget how I figured it out, but somehow if you get it into your head that the cat might be interested in the bell, let's see, show bell to cat. No? Give bell to cat. The cat sniffs at it and seems slightly interested for a moment, then quickly loses interest and falls asleep again. You take it back. I can only imagine maybe the bell looks a bit like a mouse. If you look at it, it could conceivably look kind of like a gray mouse if you look at it very briefly, but I think a cat wouldn't be fooled. But anyway. Okay, so we have an idea that the cat might be interested in if you show the cat to the bell or try to give the bell to the cat, you get the idea that the cat might be interested in the bell because of whatever reason, who knows why. So, okay, what do we have in our inventory that the cat might be interested in? Catnip. So you might think, okay, we'll give the catnip to the cat, right? No, you rub the bell with the catnip. The cat is starting to look very interested now, but not quite enough to investigate. Okay, so what if we try to give the bell to the cat now? That definitely has caught the cat's attention. Slowly at first, then more and more excitedly, the cat starts to play with it. Okay. And so now, let's see what happens if... Ding dong!
Oh, it's you. I thought it was Great Uncle Horace ringing for me. Oh well, excusez-moi, madame. I must get back to the parlor.
Okay, I was too slow. Darn it. So this is actually what happens if you ring the bell. Hold on, let me just show you. So if you ring the bell, yeah, the maid comes in and thinks that it's Great Uncle Horace ringing for her, so then she goes back to the parlor. Can I give the bell to the cat a second time, or... No. Can I rub the catnip on the bell again, maybe? Maybe the catnip wore off? No. Okay, I appear to have, again, gotten into an unwinnable situation. You have to be faster than that with the bell. Okay, well, let's try this again. I need to, whoops, not that. So I need to quickly... Actually, I don't think you need to try to I don't think you need to try giving the bell the first time, but whatever. Anyway, rub the catnip on the bell. Give bell to cat. Okay, and then quickly get out of this room before the cat rings the bell. Blah, 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 blah. Ding dong.
Oh, excusez-moi, madame. I hear Great Uncle Horace ringing for me. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
Okay, there we go. So... Maid is distracted. Let's quickly open the cupboard. Searching the cupboard, you find what the maid was hiding. It appears to be an old photo album. You pick it up. Okay, let's look at the photo album. It contains several old photos of Hugo as a child. One photo in particular catches your attention. It shows Hugo with a young girl of about the same age standing in front of a huge pointed tower. Something about the girl strikes you as being very familiar. All right. Wait, did I? Oh, I actually kept the album. Okay, I was... That's interesting. I thought that... I thought that we were supposed to put the album back, but I guess not. I'll save as got album. I'm just curious, what happens if I try to give the album back to the maid? Put album in cupboard. Cupboard. Okay. All right. Well, okay, that's fine. I thought that, for some reason, I thought that I had to give it back, but I guess not. Or that I was supposed to give it back, but apparently not. All right. So let's come out here. Oh, hey, it's the cook. She seems to be holding a knife which is dripping with blood. She speaks.
Ah, now, Miss Penelope, so you caught me in the act of preparing dinner. I've been cutting up some dead beef, so I have, and you'll be savoring the delights of my Yankee pot roast later tonight.
Cutting up some dead beef. Now, I'm a vegetarian, so I really don't know much about the subject, but first of all, I don't think that when you're cutting up beef, you call it dead beef. You just say beef. And secondly, I don't think that beef, like store-bought beef or any kind of beef, would have that much blood in it that cutting it actually causes your knife to be dripping with blood. I mean, I've seen people cutting meat, and the meat is not so bloody that there's just like blood getting all over everywhere. I mean, yeah, there might be some blood in it, but not to that extent. But anyway, so what do we have? We've already seen now the cook holding a bloody knife. We've seen the maid obviously being acting very suspiciously, and yes, I'm pretty sure I don't really know the significance of that thing with Hugo with some woman in front of a pointed tower, but I'm pretty sure, as you probably guessed as well, that pointed tower is probably the Eiffel Tower, obviously in Paris, and I'm going to assume the younger woman in the picture is probably the maid. So I think the deal is probably that Hugo and the maid knew each other when they were younger, and maybe they were dating for a while. I don't know. I really couldn't say that whole aspect has never come back to. It's like it's one of those things that just it's kind of like Chekhov's gun that they just they never return to the subject. So I don't know what to make of that. But don't worry about it too much. It doesn't matter actually. I don't think so. Anyway, all right. So what are we doing here? We have 3 doors. There's nothing very interesting about the door. This door doesn't open. So we have just 2 doors left, and then we've seen everything in the house. So let me go ahead and just save, because there are it is still possible here to mess something up. You might think that you can go down here. I mean, these look like passable hallways, but they're not. There's actually nothing. I mean, maybe in a real house there would be. They wouldn't just build, or maybe they're alcoves. I guess you could build a little alcove like this to kind of store something in, or I don't know. Anyway, so let's go ahead and see what's behind these doors. Ooh, nice music. You're in Cousin Harry's organ room. It's Hugo's affable cousin Harry. Oh, hello. What's that you say? A murder? Oh, my. Oh, dearie me. Poor great-uncle Horace. Tee-hee. Oh, my. Ha, 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 ha. Chortle. Ha, 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 ha. Yo, ho, 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 ho. Hee, 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 hee. Cousin Harry lapses into uncontrollable laughter. Well, he took the news pretty well, didn't he? Can we try talking to him? Cousin Harry is too convulsed with laughter to talk. Oh dear. Well, can we play this organ now that he's not playing it? How about getting on with the game? All right, come on. I'm always amused. I think I made a comment like this in a previous video. I'm just always amused by these kinds of representations of people's houses. Because, I mean, here you've got this whole room, and there's nothing here except a plant in the corner, picture on the wall, and the organ. There's no furniture, there's nothing. I mean, most people's houses have a bunch of stuff in them. And representations of people's houses tend to have these very empty houses with 1 or 2 pieces of furniture in each room, and just, maybe a couple of pictures on the wall, and that's it. Just very bare houses, and I always thought that was kind of a little unrealistic. Anyway, all right, so this is the last room, and there's nothing very special here, but you can mess up here a little bit. So let me go ahead and try to, well, I saved my game, so let's see what happens. It's Great Aunt Hester. All these people have names that start with H, including, obviously, Hugo. She greets you.
My dear Penelope, it's so good to see you. Why, I was just thinking about you. Come over here.
Now, she's not dangerous, but...
Now, won't you join me in a little drinky poo? You must try my special homemade elderberry wine. I guarantee it will knock you off your feet. Would you like a glass?
Well, let's... what happens if I say no?
No? Well, suit yourself. You don't mind if I help myself, will you?
Slurp.
Ah, that hit the spot. Now, did I ever tell you about the time I worked in a French vineyard as the head wine taster? No? Well, it was like this. Blah, 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 blah.
All right, so this is Great Aunt Hester's room. This room actually has a bit more stuff in it. But most of the things here are not very interesting. Let's see. If you look at Hester, it's Hugo's lovable Aunt Hester. Blah, blah, blah. Great Aunt Hester appears to be a little tipsy. All right, so there's nothing I think that you can do with the bookcase. I know there are a lot of books here. As you grasp the book, you think you hear a low rumbling noise. However, it was just a plane passing overhead. Anyhow, you look at the book, which appears to be a book on how to cook fish. It flops open to the chapter on fish. A book on fish flops open to the chapter on fish. Wonder if... okay, never mind. You start to read a menu for baked red herring, then put the book back rather sheepishly. Yeah, a lot of references to red herrings in this game because there are a lot of them. Look at the flower. Every home should have one. All right, so you can probably guess the thing that's interesting is that thing on the table. There is a private letter addressed on the table addressed to Great Aunt Hester. So if we try to get the letter, oh, the game doesn't say anything. It doesn't even give us a message saying we can't. If we try to read the letter, you can't. Great Aunt Hester will see you. So yeah, it's very simple. You really just have to read it while she's. Let's go back and let me load the game. So, Great Aunt Hester greets us. I am over here already. Oh, I need to be a little closer. All right. So, when she offers a glass, we should say yes.
Good girl. Wait a second while I fix it.
And then while she's fixing, you have to quickly read the letter. There we go. Now, the way you can mess up is if you're not fast enough. I mean, it doesn't take her long to fix the drink, so you have to very quickly type read letter, and then here we go. Quietly opening it, you quickly scan it. It appears to be a letter from Hester's attorney concerning the life insurance policy on Great Uncle Horace. Feeling rather uncomfortable at reading other people's mail, you return it to its envelope without reading any further. Okay, so I think Hester would have heard us. I mean, you can't silently pick a letter on the table and pull it out of the envelope without the paper making enough of a rustling sound that people will realize what you're doing. But anyway.
Here you go. Bottoms up, as we say.
Hester hands you the drink and you gulp it down in one. Phui! That drink certainly has a kick to it. You hand your glass back to Hester, who takes a swig of her own and continues.
Ah, that hit the spot.
Okay, and then she just says the same things that she said before. So that's it. That's all that we really had to do there. You just, like I said, you have to be a little bit fast. You don't have to be super fast, but I think that's it. So we've been to those two doors up there. The third door won't open. We've been to those rooms back there, and over here we've seen. Oh, hey, there's that police officer. He's finally going into the living room. So we're ready. We are ready for the end game. So I'll go ahead and. They call them PCs in England, don't they? PCs for police constables. I think that's the going term in England or the UK or whatever. Oh, you know what I shouldn't forget. 5 points that are easy to forget in this game. I'm just thinking about what I should do before I finish off the game. I just realized I should get the bell back. See, I have 314 points. Those are 5 points that are easy to miss. You might not think about getting the bell back, but that is something you should do if you want to finish the game with maximum points. So, okay, now I'll save again. Police constable. There we go. Let's go ahead and head into the living room. Oh boy, look, everybody's here. Whodunit? So now for the moment of truth. It appears Officer Higgins has gathered all the occupants of the house in order to sort this matter out. He's also gathered people who are not occupants of the house, like the snake and Doctor Who. Why is Doctor Who here? He speaks to you. Well now, since we can't find Great Uncle Horace, we really can't prove that what you say is true. He looks around at the others and continues. Since there are apparently no other witnesses, we really don't have much to go on. You interrupt Officer Higgins excitedly to tell him that you think you know who the killer is. Suddenly, everyone in the room goes quiet. Higgins' eyes open wide and he looks at you with a curious expression. Well then, Penelope, we're all waiting. Perhaps you would like to tell us the name of the killer. Well, whodunit? Oh, I see. I have to type. I just have to type in the answer here. So, who do you think it was? So we've seen a few people acting suspiciously. We know that apparently Great Uncle Horace has left some money, quite a bit of money to Hugo. So Hugo might have had a motive, but so would other people as well. I mean, Great Aunt Hester, who's right there, right next to Penelope in the purple dress, she might have had a motive, right? Harry, the guy playing the organ, I don't know what motive he might have had, but I guess his hysterical laughter is supposed to make him look like a psychopath and maybe seem like he was some kind of crazy psychopathic killer who did it just for that reason, not having a specific motive, but just because he's crazy. Um, the snake. I mean, you can't really charge a snake with murder, can you? Um, the genie and Doctor Who seem fairly unlikely. The maid. I mean, yeah, okay. The maid I could see, and the cook. It's always it's always the butler who did it because they want to get So I mean, there are conceivable motives in every case. The gardener as well. The gardener's standing back there in the corner because he's ashamed of his behavior. But you can type in pretty much any name here. So let's go ahead and type in, for example, Hugo. Cousin Harry shouts out, "You're wrong! You're wrong! Ha! I didn't think you'd guess right. You see, I know exactly what happened. It all started like this." As Cousin Harry explains the mystery to everybody, you can't help wondering where Hugo was during all of this. We return to Hugo for the final puzzle and the startling conclusion of the mystery. And indeed we do. Hugo has apparently been in this room the whole time. But just before we finish off the game, let's go ahead and restore Police Constable. And let's go ahead and go through all this and just wait until the police officer asks whodunit again. I like how the motions of these people are completely random. All right, here we go. So, the correct answer to the question whodunit is quite simply nobody. Cousin Harry shouts out, "Brilliant, brilliant! You have successfully deduced who the killer was. You see, as soon as you told me what happened, I realized. I knew all along, but I never thought you'd guess." So after that feat of deduction, you should find the final puzzle a piece of cake. We return to Hugo for the final conclusion of the story. Okay, so here we are. So we are Hugo again, and we are in the box room. You also see a newspaper and a pencil. I think what happened was, if you look at the chute on the left, yeah, it's the chute for dropping dirty washing down here, dirty laundry. So this is the laundry room. So I think what happened is Hugo must have accidentally fallen down he fell down the laundry chute and ended up here. But we can't open this door because it's locked. Now, I'm not an expert on such things, but I can understand locking a laundry room because maybe you might want to store something in here, but I think it makes sense to lock, to have the door locked in such a way that you lock people out. You don't really want to lock. There's no reason, if somebody's in the laundry room, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to get out. It's more like if somebody's outside, they might not be able to, they might be blocked from getting in. So I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but we're locked in here. So what are we supposed to do? Well, let's see. Let's get the newspaper. Okay, and let's get the pencil while we're at it. Okay, can we read the newspaper? You glance at the paper. Looks like someone's been doing the crossword. Only one clue remains unsolved. A valuable food fish of the family Clupidae. 7 letters. Well, that is, once again, herring. You catch on fast. And funnily enough, you don't get any points for typing in the answer to the crossword puzzle. But anyway, all right. So it's time for the last puzzle of the game. Let's take a look at the door. Looking through the keyhole, you can see the key has been left in the lock. Too bad it's on the other side. Now, this is kind of a classic puzzle, or kind of a classic puzzle solution. You put the newspaper under the door. Push newspaper under door. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So now the newspaper is like halfway under the door. And now you push the key with the pencil. You hear a soft thud as the key drops out of the keyhole onto the paper underneath. As Yahtzee correctly pointed out in his video on this game, it doesn't work. Most doors will not have enough room under them for you to slide a whole newspaper. Okay, they might have enough room for you to slide a single piece of paper under that. That could be the case. But then a keyhole there's usually not enough room in a keyhole to push a pen or pencil or something like that through. But anyway, so I mean, this is not likely to work in real life. And of course, this assumes that the lock is a warding lock, which most locks today are not. Most locks today are pin and tumbler locks, which this won't work with anyway. But, you know, old-fashioned warding locks where the hole went straight through the door, like the keyhole went straight through, and you could actually potentially, theoretically, push the key out from the other side. Yeah, so anyway. So yeah, so the key lands on the other side of the door onto the newspaper that we pushed underneath. Gently drawing the paper back into the room, you see the key come to. Hardly able to contain your excitement, you unlock the door and step through the door. Look, we got the maximum score. We have 350 of 350 points. Awesome! Maximum score. Good thing we remembered to get the bell. And oh look, it's Great Uncle Horace. He greets you.
Oh, there you are, my boy. Where on earth have you been hiding, eh? I've been searching high and low for you. I've a favor to ask. I've been rehearsing my new play up in my study with your cousin Harry. Trouble is, Hugo, we're a bit stuck on the murder scene. I play the victim and Harry plays the murderer, but we need someone to play the part of the investigator. I was rather hoping you'd help.
The end. Why are they walking straight into the wall? Till we meet again. Hugo stopped before he ran into the wall, but Great Uncle Horace is maybe a little bit nearsighted and didn't see that the wall was in front of him. I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Hugo 2 Whodunit. I don't have much left to say. I really very much enjoy this game, as I think I've already made apparent in pretty much every video about this game that I've made so far. I'm very sorry that some people don't like this game. I mean, it's a matter of personal opinion. You know, I mean, if you don't like it, then okay, you know, that's your preference. But I'm very sorry to have taken up so much time of so many people who don't like this game. So if you don't like this game, then my apologies. But thank you for watching anyway. I hope that you found some merit in my videos, even if you didn't like this game. And if you do like this game, then the same. I hope that you enjoyed coming along with me on this wonderful adventure as we tried to solve the whodunit mystery of who murdered Uncle Horace. And I'm glad that we found the culprit, the mystery was solved, and we got all the points, 350 out of 350 points. Awesome! So again, I don't have much left to say. I will go ahead and sign off. And once again, thank you all for watching. And be well, everyone. And yeah, don't eat any moldy bananas.